Hello, LittleKingZero here again. Apologizing for the late upload. I wanted to get this Night 6 video out quite a bit sooner than I did. But I'm kind of glad that it took a little bit longer because in this video I will explain Freddy's movements a little bit better. If you go on and check the wiki, it says his movements are sporadic and nobody really understands how he works, but I think I have figured out a big part of it, and due to that I have also found a surefire way to beat Night 6 abusing Freddy's movement patterns. So we're going to go into that. That's going to be the last thing we go over. The first thing I'm going to go over is a strategy that I used to beat Night 6 the first time. So the strategy for Night 6 that I used to beat it the first time involved only checking for Foxy and checking the East Hall for Freddy and using my door lights to find the other two. You do not have enough power to try to keep track of all four of them, so I'd say the most you can do is just keep track of the two if you want to conserve your power enough to survive the entire night. Now, the first thing that you want to do is immediately check on Foxy and then lower your camera. Then you're going to want to wait a second, 2 seconds, however long you feel, and then go back to your camera, check on Foxy, go to the stage, see who's moved, go back to Foxy and lower your camera. Once Bonnie and Chica move, stay on Foxy, don't worry about Freddy yet. And then just occasionally check on Foxy, check your door lights. Now, at this part of the night, Freddy is still inactive. This will last for about a minute. You want to take this time to just conserve as much power as possible. On a side note, the double teaming is not an uncommon occurrence on Night 6 and 7. So there I heard Freddy's very deep laugh, and I know that he has moved from the stage and is now actually a threat. It sounds a little bit far away. The closer he is, the louder his laugh is. So at this point, you want to confirm that he's gone, and then immediately start checking on Foxy and then your East Hall. So at this point I am closing my door a little bit more often than I would have liked, but I quickly catch myself and I kind of stop closing my door every time I check my camera because that's kind of combining two strategies which will absolutely drain your power. It's around here that I think that I kind of correct myself and I stop closing my door every time. On a side note, Freddy's in the kitchen as well, so I know that he can't attack me. Now that laugh was really loud, so yep, Freddy's in 4B, or your East Hall. So from now on, as long as he's there, you have to close your door before checking on the cameras. He will stay there for a long time, but there is a chance that he can walk away and give you some more breathing room. Now I'm going to cut some of this out. It's a lot of exactly the same. This is the strategy that I used to beat Night 6 for the very first time. However, it took many, many tries, and you can see here that even now, using this strategy, I did die. I kind of got a little bit overwhelmed. I was being I had Chica attacking me. I had everybody by my door, Foxy included, and then I just got overwhelmed. So this is a strategy that you can use to beat Night 6. However, it is not the most efficient way to beat Night 6. Use it if you want. It is very satisfying when you beat it with this. Just don't expect it to. Just expect it to take a while. It relies a lot on luck. Okay, so for the Big Bugs strategy, I decided that I would go ahead and record it live. We're going to put everything down to 0, just so that way we can go through it. Excuse me, in some more detail. We're going to put everything at 0 so that way nothing moves and you can just kind of get the feel of it. I also left my mouse on all of these recordings, I'm sure you've noticed, just so that way I figured it would help a little bit if my mouse was on. Okay, so now that the game is loaded, the first thing you do with the Big Bugs strategy is that you go to you kind of just check your camera periodically. Now on something like the 420s Night 7, you only have to check your camera like 3 times and they'll all be gone. And the strategy that I used for Night 6 does technically work with Night 7. It's just so fast paced that there's no chance of it actually working. There's no chance of it. It's nearly impossible. So then assuming that everybody moves, then you check on Foxy, and then you close your right door, check your camera, open your right door, and check your lights. Now that's important too. The reason you want to open your door and then check your lights is if you check your usage. If you check your lights while your door is open, it goes up to yellow. And if you open your door and check your lights, you never go into that yellow usage, which keeps your power. It stops your power from draining a little bit faster. And I'm sure some of you have tried. If Chica is by the door and I open it, check the lights, and she's actually been there the whole time, I still have a little bit of time to close the door again. So it don't have to worry. I've played with, like, sometimes I'd have Bonnie by the door, and I'll close the door, and I'll turn the light on, and I'll see a shadow, and just to be a jerk, or just to have fun, I'll open the door, turn the light on, and close the door real quick. Don't make a habit of that, because they can instantly lock your doors if you do that. But for the Big Bugs strategy, you close the door, open it, check your lights, and if Bonnie is there, you close it again. So just make sure not to have your door closed and check your lights at the same time. And left this door closed. So going at you close your door, check your check your camera, open the door, light, pan to the left, light, pan to the right, door, camera, door, light, light, door, camera, door, light, light. And it's just a lot of, you have to get, since you want to use your power as little as possible, you have to like look at your camera and like pretty much only get one frame in there, and just to see it as little as possible. This uses up an insane amount of power, and while it would probably guarantee you a win in Night 6, you would have to rely on, your power will go out. Your power will go out depending on how much you conserve your power, depending on how often Foxy attacked you, or the other two attack you. You'll run out of power sooner than later, and you'll have to rely on Freddy having a really long wind-up after you run out of power. So that's the flaw of this thing. However, the benefit is it is currently, as far as I know, the only strategy to beat Night 7. However, it is by no means the most effective way to beat Night 6. So this is the general thing. It'll take some little bit of practice, but it's worth it if you're going to try to go for Night 7. However, for Night 6, I have a much better strategy that I have actually confirmed that it works. I've done it on multiple computers, and it'll pretty much guarantee your Night 6 win. So let's go ahead and get that done. I just realized, before we actually dive into Night 6, let's actually go into how it works and kind of what I figured out and how I applied it into a strategy and found out that the strategy actually worked. So, if you check the wiki, it'll say that Freddy's movements are currently... nobody really understands how his movements work. I have kind of figured out that his movements are very similar to Foxy's. Now, Foxy works like, if you recall, if you check your camera too often, Foxy will come out of the curtain. And if you don't check your camera enough, he will come out of the curtain. Now, Foxy is similar in the sense that if you look at Foxy, he becomes a little less active. And if you look at him too much, he becomes more active again. Now, Freddy works similarly. If you look at Freddy, he becomes slightly less active. However, if you continuously look at Freddy, he continues to stay inactive. He doesn't become more active if you look at him more. So, how that works is if you were to look at Freddy, go down to Foxy, close your camera, and then go up to Freddy, down to Foxy again, you technically looked at Freddy, so that way he becomes a little bit, he becomes inactive again for a little bit of time. So that gives you on Night 6 enough time to check your lights, and then check Foxy and check Freddy again. And he's, again, since you checked him, he's become inactive again. So this is how Freddy's movements work, and this is why I even said in my first video before I understood that if you look at him in the camera, he won't move. This is because if you check him on your camera, he becomes inactive for a little bit of time. So let's actually, I have like 5 recordings of Night 6 where I beat him using this strategy. So I'm going to go ahead and just find one here and we'll play it through. Now this is one of my later attempts at Night 6 using what I have dubbed the Freddy Freeze-bear strategy, where you keep him in place. Now this is one of my later attempts. I chose this one because this was the first time that I had ever beaten Night 6 without running out of power, and that's something that's really important. Is I really don't like running out of power and just relying on Freddy's wind-up RNG. So this is why this is my favorite strategy. Now, originally, when I found this, I thought it was a glitch, and after kind of doing a little bit of searching around and kind of taking hours trying to figure out Freddy's movements, I have come to the conclusion that it is not a glitch as much as it is using a mechanic slightly unintentionally, which... not a glitch, just not the intended way of using Freddy's mechanic of him becoming inactive when you look at him. Because even in my 5th night, I said, my first 5 nights video, which I didn't really understand Freddy's movements as well as I do now, I said that he won't move or he won't attack as long as you're looking at him in the camera. Excuse me. And it kind of... it turned into this. So this is, I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. Not a lot going on. Freddy never moves. I think Foxy might attack me once. So we're going to go ahead and skip ahead. And here we go. So here I am, 5 a.m., getting double teamed again. And as soon as I check my cameras here, you'll see that Freddy still hasn't moved. 5 a.m., Night 6. He should obviously be by my hallway at this point if this... if I wasn't using the Freeze-bear strategy. And getting really close, 5 a.m., 9%. It gets really close. I was really trying hard to not run out of power, and I think, I don't know, it was on one of these, I don't know if it was this one or the next one, where I get literally right at the end and Foxy attacks me and I run out of power right there. So that was disappointing. But this one, I think finally everything pulls through. Now, I was debating on whether or not I was going to just sit here and stop, but I kind of just wanted to keep going for as long as I possibly could and not just sit here and wait for my power to run out. And yeah, I actually get to 0%, and then I beat the night. Like, literally right before my power was going to run out. You can hear Freddy moving right there. And damn, 6 a.m. There we go. So, night 6, I have gotten it down to, like, I think I'm like, in this night I went 5 for 5 on night 6 attempts. Like, I beat all 5 of the times I tried it. And there we go, 50 cents of overtime. God damn, that's a lot of money. So, now, the important question I'm sure some people are trying to ask is, can you freeze a level 20 Freddy? And the answer to that question is... absolutely, you can freeze a level 20 Freddy. However, during this night at around 5 a.m., Bonnie started to move and my cameras went down. So I had Freddy frozen for about 5 hours on night 7 at level 20, and unfortunately during the last hour or so, he kind of unfroze. So it is possible. You just have to check your cameras very frequently. That, of course, means that if you were to try this on night 7 with everything at level 20, it's probably going to look like this. Or this. So yeah, the longest I was able to hold Freddy on a night 7 attempt was 2, maybe 3 seconds if I was really lucky. So it's not something that you can use on night 7 yet, unless somebody else wants to go in and kind of try to optimize it a little bit more. I'm still trying now. I haven't come up with a way to consistently hold Freddy for anything longer than a couple seconds. So for now, continue to use the big bugs strategy if you are attempting night 7 until I can find something a little bit more reliable. I haven't even beat night 7 myself yet. So if anybody else wants to take a crack at it and kind of keep me updated on how they're doing, I'd love to hear that. If there's any other games that you'd like me to try to play, I'd love to hear about those. Don't forget to hit that like button if you liked the video, and to subscribe if you liked me. My name is LittleKingZero. Thank you, and goodbye.